Hi there, I'm Damon with Learning Blade, and I'm going to show you how to do the wind turbine prototype activity from our Mission Challenge resources to promote exciting STEM careers to your students. In the Energy Sources mission, students learn about the challenges that a city faces when it tries to upgrade its energy supply with modern, environmentally friendly energy sources. Now in this mission challenge, students are going to create a wind turbine prototype and measure its performance. This will introduce them to the challenges that energy scientists and power engineers face when developing renewable sources of energy. So now let's begin our activity. First, you're going to need a 2-liter bottle. Then you're going to need 2 half-liter bottles. You're also going to need some marbles or pennies or pebbles for weight. You're going to need several sheets of paper. You're going to need some simple tools like a ruler, some scissors, some tape. And then you're going to need 3 non-bendable straws. You're also going to need a permanent marker, and you'll need a small fan so that once you're done with your turbine, you can measure its performance. So let's get started with our activity. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our 2-liter bottle and we're going to make a cut in it so that one of these bottles, actually both of these bottles, are going to be able to sit in it. Doesn't have to be perfect, but we're just trying to get something close so that we're going to cut that out so that the bottles can sit in it this direction. So now I'll take my scissors. It's actually okay if you squeeze the bottle a little bit so that the scissors can bite into it. And then once you've done that, kind of pop the bottle back open and just put your scissors inside of it and cut along the line that you've made. Now our bottle will lay in there. Now, so what we're going to do next is we're going to add our weight. So we're going to go ahead and take all our marbles before I lose them, put them in here. We're going to take our bottles and we're going to make a nacelle. So a nacelle is part of the wind turbine that goes horizontally. In an earlier version of this project, we had you use a drill and just use one bottle. Today, what we're going to do is actually avoid using a tool like a drill, and we're going to combine these 2 bottles together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut one here at this where it starts to contract and come in, and then I'll cut the other side and we'll slip those 2 bottles together and tape them together, and that way I don't have to drill holes through this hard plastic on the bottom. I'll just use the hole of the other spout. So once that bottom's gone, don't need that. Now I'm going to do the same thing over here, only I want to do it at the wider part because this one is going to slip inside of this one. So I'll squeeze it, cut it a little bit, let it pop back open, put my scissors inside. I've cut the end off. All right, put that aside, don't need it. So now you can see this will slip inside, and now I've got my nacelle that will sit on like that. So now I should have, yeah, all right, so I've got that tape completely around, and that's going to sit onto there. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to put a little bit of tape on here. There we go. Okay. Now we're going to do our wind turbine shaft. And what we could do is we could just put the straws in there just like that and let them sit in the bottom. Another thing we could do is we could take some paper, cut a square, cut another square, and then I could put some holes in this square. Big enough so that my straw can fit through. And what I can do is I can now tape that across there, and that way it makes it spin instead of just sitting down in there. I'll show you how I do that. Let me put holes in my other one. And basically I'm just going to take this and just fold the edges over and then tape it on there. All right, so I've got a hole there that my straw will go through. And now we'll do the same thing on this side. Now what we're going to do is we're going to make the shaft. So what we'll do is we're going to take one straw here and we're going to cut a slice about an inch and a half. And then we're going to turn the straw and we're going to cut another slice on the other side so that basically I've got two halves of the straw that I can peel it open like that. So then I'm going to take another straw and I'm going to place it in between those two slices. And then I'm going to tape it. Now, if the straw isn't long enough to go all the way through, that's totally fine. What we're going to do now is we can cut one slice about an inch in this one. And what that'll let it do is now we can squeeze that together. And what that does is now it will fit inside of another straw. And we're going to put some more tape, you guessed it, around this and tape these together. So now we have a nice long shaft that will go completely through our nacelle. So we'll slide that through like that. Find the hole on the other side, and there it goes out the other side. All right, so now we've got our shaft, we've got our cross beam here, but we don't have any wind blades. So what we'll do for that is we will cut some pieces of paper here. We'll cut one long piece. You want to try to get these the same size, more or less. So I'll hold them together like this. So what we do is we fold one over like that. Take some more tape. And we're going to tape it so that the two edges are just barely touching. They're all lined up. So it's going to create a teardrop cross section. So now what we're going to do is we're going to place these on and we're going to tape them. But we don't want to, this is where your students can actually get a little creative about how the direction of the blades go, and they can experiment and see what the direction of the blades, how that changes turbine's performance. I have my wind turbine. Now for the next part, we're going to take our fan, I'm going to plug it in, we'll put it in front of this, and we'll start measuring its performance. Okay, now we have our wind turbine, we have a fan set up. I placed it on a box just to get it up so that the airflow is hitting the blades of the turbine. So we'll go ahead and turn our fan on. If we want to measure the performance, if we want to measure something like RPM, what we can do is we can put a mark on one part of the shaft, and we can calculate with a stopwatch or a timer app on our phone, and we can see how fast it goes in, say, a 10-second interval or a 15-second interval. And then we can calculate revolutions per minute, and we can actually see, well, how fast is this wind turbine spinning. In addition to this project, you can find other Mission Challenge activities in the resources section of Learning Blade. Thank you for watching, and be sure to check out other videos in this series.